Hi there. So I figured that by the time of filming this video, the premiere for the school safety drills video isn't exactly available to watch at the moment because I have it set for March 6th at 9:10 a.m. So figured while we waited, I would film this one for safety tips on escalators and elevators, or as the British people know an elevator as a lift. But anyway, um, so an escalator is basically a, well, the only simplest term I can use for it is a moving staircase. So an elevator is basically just a box cart that has in a shaft with a whole bunch of wires connected to it. Wires, cables, everything like that. So basically when you're riding an escalator or an elevator, there are a few safety procedures that you'd have to make note of. When you're riding an escalator, you have to, those yellow lines that separate each escalator step? Well, those are basically there to tell you when each step is coming so you know when to step on and off of the escalator. So, and at the bottom and top of each escalator, there's like a little green light to tell you when to step on, hidden underneath the stairs. So, yeah. And some escalators have this function called power saving mode, which is basically where if no one is riding the escalator, it will either power down to a lower speed, like it'll either go down to a lower speed and continue moving at that lower speed, or it'll stop completely. But as soon as someone does get on it, it'll speed it'll speed back up at normal speed. And once you get back off the escalator, it'll go at normal speed for a while, but then once it doesn't detect anyone, it'll go back to power saving mode. I kind of honestly think every escalator that exists should have that mode. But I'm not a staff member at Elgis or Chandler or Westinghouse or any other escalator elevator company, so I'm not the one who makes them. But always remember to hold the handrail, both handrails, while riding an escalator. And if you want to know exactly how, when I've seen a few people do videos where they like take a paper towel of some sort or something and they rub it along. Actually, I think they use wet wipes. Yeah, they use wet wipes and they have it right there on the escalator rail. And as the escalator rail goes, the wet wipe picks up how much dirt and everything is actually on the escalator rail. And it's quite a lot. Those things probably don't get cleaned very often. So, and I did hear this one thing where you have to where the right side of an escalator, in the US anyway, is for riding up and down, and the left side of an escalator is for walking up and down. So, if that's true, then that's a good way of telling who wants to ride up or down the escalator and who wants to walk up and down the escalator, because when the escalator breaks down, it just becomes a normal staircase that you can just walk on. So, those little brushes on the sides of an escalator, those are not for cleaning your shoes, unlike what everyone else believes. Those are actually to inform you that you're getting too close to the side of the escalator and you might want to move over a little bit. So yeah, what else is there? Oh yeah, you know that little red button at the bottom and top of every escalator? Well, that would be the emergency stop button. And basically what that does is once you hit the button, the escalator stops moving, and some people would say that the only use of the emergency stop button is to stop the escalator in case someone gets stuck in between pieces of it. But a second use of the button is for a cleaning crew to be able to clean all of the trash and debris off of the escalator without it continuously moving on them. So if you want to clean debris off of an escalator, you just push the emergency stop button and clean it off. And some escalators have a little keyhole where it has off in the center, and then once you insert the key and turn it one way, it can make the escalator go downwards, or if you turn it the opposite way from the center, it can make the escalator go upwards. So one makes it go upward, one makes it go downward. So that's nice. And I have seen some things where some people would reverse the direction of an escalator. Like if one escalator isn't moving, they'd reverse the other one to make it go in the direction of the one that wasn't moving. So I'm not sure what purpose that serves, but it is nice to know that escalators have the ability to reverse direction like that upon insertion of a key. Now, in a fire emergency, since an escalator is basically just a staircase, I'm pretty sure escalators are safe to use in a fire emergency, given that it's just a staircase in the end. So, but you know what's not safe to use in a fire emergency? An elevator, or lift, as it's known in the UK. But anyway, an elevator is, best way I can describe it is it has a super big shaft. It's like a giant boxcar inside of the shaft with a whole bunch of wires, cables, cords, whatever. And once you push the up or down call button on an elevator, once you press one of the up or down call buttons on an elevator, it'll make the elevator move to the floor that you are on, and the doors will open. And once you've entered the elevator, you press a button with a number on it, and it will take you to the floor that that number represents. And if someone's running toward the elevator while you're in it and the doors are closing, they want to get on the elevator, you don't put your hand right in front of the doors to make it open again, because that's a terrible idea. What you actually do is press the door open button that's right there on the panel, and the door will open again. So, and if you're in an elevator and you, for some odd reason, get stuck in there, no worries, because there are two things that can help you in that case. One being a little bell button that's known as the, well, emergency bell of an elevator. And what that does, you push the button, it rings a bell, and pretty soon notifies a third party that you are stuck in the elevator, and it will send help to the elevator that you are stuck in. And if that doesn't work, then you have a second option called an emergency phone, where you call like an operating system or something, and that third party basically gets in contact with someone, and I'm pretty sure they would also send a help team out, regardless if you either use the bell or the emergency phone. So, like I previously said, in a fire emergency, you do not want to use an elevator, given that the fire could be on one of those cords that's in the elevator shaft, and, well, that could end bad if the elevator cord snaps and you just plummet straight down. But if the fire is not in the elevator shaft on one of those cords, and you use an elevator, then the elevator could stop on the exact floor that the fire is on, and that could also potentially be dangerous. So, what you want to do in a fire emergency to evacuate a building is not use the elevator, but rather use a staircase or an escalator. So, yeah, do not use elevators in a fire emergency, because when the fire alarm activates, the elevator is supposed to enter something called fire recall mode, where it'll relocate to the main re-entry floor, like to the assigned re-entry floor or main lobby of the building. And once it arrives there, it'll open the doors of the elevator and keep them open. And the elevator will not move unless the fire department comes in with a key and directs the elevator towards the floor that the fire alarm control panel has indicated the alarm is activated from. So, and if someone uses an elevator during a fire emergency, that pretty much disrupts the fire recall mode, and that could potentially put more people in danger. So in a fire emergency, the only people that are allowed to use an elevator are the firefighters. And I know earlier I mentioned cleaning an escalator of debris. Well, kind of have to make sure elevators are clean of that as well. So, to clean an elevator of debris, you have to. I think one of the staff members of the building has a special key that they insert and allows the elevator to remain open, just like fire recall mode. And while the doors are open, they can check the area that separates the that you walk over to get from to walk in and out of an elevator. You have to check that area that the doors are at for debris, make sure everything's clean in there, and then you have to check the inside of the elevator and make sure everything is clean in there. So, and you know those things that you probably see in most airports that look like an escalator, but it's flat and it's just across the floor like this. Well, that's kind of known as a moving walk or a moving walkway, and or a moving sidewalk, whichever way you want to call it. And well, they have the same exact handrail design as a escalator, but it's basically just a flat version of it that only runs along the floor. Now, if you've been to Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World, then you might have visited the People Mover and noticed the only way to get on and off the ride of the People Mover is to use what looks like an escalator because it's an inclined plane. But just like a moving walkway, it's just a conveyor belt that you're on with escalator handrails. So, yeah, the People Mover at Walt Disney World has those conveyor belt type escalators, and airports have a moving sidewalk type of escalator thing. And you do have to make sure those are clean as well throughout time. And so I think I've covered pretty much everything in this video. So like, comment, and subscribe, and once the school emergency drill video is available to watch, then I highly recommend that you watch it. And to any teachers at any elementary, middle, high school, or college, if you want to utilize that school emergency drill video on March 6th when it releases at 9:10 a.m. to kind of show your class like a basic overview of all the school emergency drills, then feel free to do that, because I put the video there just in time for Severe Weather Preparedness Week, which is actually this week, March 3rd, 2024 through March 9th, 2024. And I put the video there on the exact day of the North Carolina Annual Statewide Tornado Drill. So, yeah. So if any teachers want to utilize that video once that becomes available to watch, feel free to do so. And I will see y'all maybe in the chat of that. I'll see you in the chat of that video once it becomes available to watch. So, yeah, see you then.